What did you have in mind?
I was thinking the difference between Samatha and Vipassana.
What do you think the difference is?
Well, I think it it relates to what we've been talking about in previous talks, in recent talks. So, Samatha seems to be more about unifying and composing the mind, recognizing the mind.
Can you compose your mind without understanding what the mind is?
No.
Can you compose the mind without seeing the mind and just by following an external set of prescriptions of how to compose your mind?
No.
Is that even conceivable?
No.
So can you then compose your mind spontaneously?
No.
Can you compose your mind unknowingly?
Unknowingly, no.
So what do all these things have in common then?
Vipassana.
Exactly. So can you compose the mind without understanding of the mind?
No.
So there's no samatha without vipassana. And the reason why I ask that is because, I don't know how many times I myself heard it from different people, like a general contemporary view of, you do your vipassana.
Yeah.
I'm not referring to the meditation technique of vipassana, but like study.
Yeah.
You do your study, and now it's time for formal meditation, whereby you go and you follow, watch your nostrils, and somehow what you studied will miraculously fit into this experience of non-thinking and observing sensations. And there's absolutely two completely different things, aren't they? If you see no relationship between samatha and vipassana, they are not two yokes of the same thing as the Buddha described. They're completely two different yokes. They're not even yokes because they're not pulling anything. Well, they are yokes of the wrong view, I suppose.
Yeah.
Wrong idea of samatha and wrong idea of vipassana are reinforcing your wrong views of what practice is. So you are yoking yourself just the other way.
Yeah. My experience, it was maybe more. You do your samatha because you need to calm your mind, and then once it's calm enough, you now direct your mind to the nature of things.
And funnily enough, all of that is completely refuted by the Buddha in Samadhi Sutta, like one of the early suttas in Majjhima Nikaya.
Yeah.
It says there's absolutely no such thing as right meditation without a right view. It is inconceivable. Yeah. Yet here you are, starting your practice, thinking what you do as a meditation is the meditation that pertains to the meditation of enlightenment or whatever the Buddha is teaching, knowingly at the same time you know that you have no right view, but you're thinking my meditation is right. So what is that? What would be the sole criteria then for those people, for people who engage in such a contradictory view, yet adhere to a certain method or technique of the meditation, knowing at the same time that they don't have the right view, they don't know what the mind is, they don't understand the nature of the mind, yet they're practicing calming of the mind. What is the criteria for their calming?
How nice it feels.
Pleasure, exactly. And that's what I said again and again. Without a right view, you'll be just meditating with your own sensuality.
Yeah.
You cannot possibly not meditate without it. And that's not a meditation that he approves of.
Yeah.
So think of samatha as calm vipassana, and think of vipassana as active samatha. Literally inseparable.
Yeah, but it seems to me that I still see two sort of different directions or like slightly different perspective or orientation involved in the samatha vipassana distinction. So samatha would be I guess all that can manifest manifests as an image. And any notion of something outside of that is also another image. Clarifying that mind comes first, that direction seems to be about what samatha is. Whereas I would say vipassana seems to be more, I guess they are totally linked, but vipassana is more about the fact that whatever image, whatever has manifested.
Sorry, you just said that clarifying that thought is what samatha is.
Clarifying that thought.
No, that's what vipassana is. Clarifying that mind comes first, understanding the nature of an originally enduring image, that any other relationship, any other movement, any other thought in regard to it must be within the fundamentally manifested enduring image. That's what vipassana is. You're just discerning it. And see, they're so linked together that you thought you were describing one while you were describing the other.
But so vipassana, I keep thinking of vipassana as being more about the fact that I can't own this image, this whatever has manifested. Sort of, I was subjected to it rather than I can't own this. That to me seems.
So what's samatha then?
So samatha is more about including the totality of your experience, like not
including
allowing,
what?
including like so as an image,
including what you just clarified.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not the opposite direction.
No, it's not the opposite direction. You can't have one without the other.
Different emphasis of a same.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, but there is a different emphasis there.
No, of course. That's why there are two
balls
of one yoke. Nobody says they're one thing, but literally, if one ball pulls harder, the other one is pulled by it. They cannot be separated. There is no yoke without two. But what general attitude is, it's basically two separate balls with two separate yokes. And like somehow they magically connect.
Okay, let me try and put it another way.
The only way to discern the two is within one. That's what the Buddha said. Two bulls are tied with one yoke. So if you are you're trying to discern yoke by chasing two different bulls, you're not.
Yes.
First you need to understand what yoking is. And then you'll see the two aspects of it, and then you'll know what the two bulls are, and then you'll be practicing samatha, they develop vipassana, they maintain samatha.
Yeah. Okay.
And samatha, most accurately, would be what you just said discernment is, like you discern the image has to endure first. Doesn't matter the secondary action, choices, intentions, and so on that will be within, and you stop assuming outside of it.
Yeah.
That's your now clarified, discerned context. That also endures. In the same sense, the things that have arisen on their own were enduring, that allowed you to discern the nature of enduring. Now your discernment endures. Maintaining the endurance of your discernment is what samatha is. That's why your discernment will come to fulfillment. That's why in jhanas you fully fulfill your understanding of things. Once you come there with the right view. Because that's exactly what's enduring, the clarity.
But could you say that the recognizing the unknowability of what's manifested is more as an aspect of vipassana, more the direction of vipassana, but sort of trying to get that to that recognition, that insight to apply to the totality of the experience is more the direction of samatha.
No, you are not applying it.
Okay.
If you are applying it, means you're doing it. You're not discerning it on account of there isn't. So the reason why it feels like it's a separate direction is because you keep interjecting yourself.
Yeah. It's doing something.
So when you have the discernment of vipassana you talk about, within that discern the samatha. Don't do it elsewhere. That's my point. See, it's not accurate even on that entirely internal, personal, slight shift of your attention. Let alone how inaccurate it is when you do it as a separate thing, my study and my meditation. It's earth and sky. So when we usually do how are you feeling right now? What is the presently enduring feeling?
It's alright.
So what are the characteristics of the presently enduring feeling?
The characteristics of
just your current mood, describing the characteristics of it. In the nature, not in the content.
Right now feels a bit bland.
bland? What are the kind of symptoms of blandness? So
a lack of
certain lack. Okay. So see, now you're basically discerning and looking and lifting up and looking around of one thing that endures.
Yes.
But now imagine I ask you, what is your current presently enduring feeling? So I'm asking you that again now.
Okay.
So what is it?
Neutral.
Neutral feeling. Okay. So and now, what is the current presently enduring feeling?
Neutral.
Neutral. Okay. So we keep talking about, and I keep asking you every few times. So you're not actively thinking about the present enduring, but you're not ignoring it either.
Yes.
It's there, enduring.
Yes.
That's the samatha aspect of it.
Yes.
You're not actively engaging with what's enduring,
Yeah.
but you're still aware of its enduring.
Yeah.
That's why mindfulness, developed correctly, result in proper full. That's why samadhi developed correctly, result in fulfilling of four foundations of mindfulness.
And no one would think that you could do vipassana without mindfulness.
No one would think. What do you mean?
No one would. I don't think anyone would. And no one would argue
that you can
that
do
you could do
vipassana
without mindfulness.
Course. That's why you can't have too much of mindfulness either.
In the same way, you can't.
It's a basis for what you want to discern, or it's a basis for maintaining the enduring image of what you discerned. Either way, mindfulness has to be there, and you can't do too much of it. But you can, as the Buddha said, you can do too much of vipassana, and you can do too much of samadhi. As in when you don't make enough effort to think about the characteristics which remain to a degree unclear, or you can be thinking a bit too much to a degree that you're becoming a bit nervous and restless and not calm. As in, you kind of, because you're so engaged with characteristics of whatever's present enduring, you're forgetting that present enduring thing is enduring there on its own, and it doesn't require your effort of upholding it. So you get a bit restless. But either way, with the right view, it will even itself out. It will have to even itself out.
So it has to, that's
or
the Buddha says.
Steady.
That's what it means, even itself out.
Evenly yoked. They're yoked together. Something possibly.
You're holding something and then it's...
Yeah.
You have to keep...
Sure.
to see what's going on, but then you don't have to...
It's calming. It calms down, literally. Yeah.
So I see what you mean. So samatha's more of that kind of passive, not ignoring the background.
Passive, non-ignoring, not engaging in with the
allowing that
with the right
thing.
order of things that you just discerned.
Which you couldn't do without the vipassana.
Exactly. And you wouldn't be discerning it if it wasn't there enduring.
Exactly.
If you haven't recognized the degree of its endurance.
And samatha is not so much
you then
doing it.
Exactly.
It's more the fact that these things endure.
That's why the perfect samatha that the Buddha described is the jhanas, the one that he always praised, and that's why there is no sense of I am in them. Even for somebody who is still not an arahant, that sense has to subside completely before you get to develop. Why? Because you can't be doing it, and it's about you not doing it. That's why it's so pleasant and sublime and so on, because it doesn't require effort. And that's why it develops discernment. That's why with right view you get jhanas, you will be at least anagami. As in you get jhanas, means you develop your mind to the extent of jhana. You would be free from sensuality and probably free from conceit in no time. Because you're just becoming fully familiar with it, as solid as a rock, steady, the clarity of things that you discern. It just becomes your mode of being. And then it fully becomes apparent, clear, beyond doubt that, there is no room for the slightest degree of me and I am and me choosing to do this.
Whatever I do, these things are enduring.
So that's the sole reason that it felt like two different directions for you. Even they were unified with the general context. As I said, it wasn't as accurate enough because you still had a trace of idea of now I apply it.
Exactly.
No, you don't apply it.
Or slightly.
You applying it, it's a separate thing now. Now you can take me applying something as there is an image that endures for you, which gives the context of your application. But your vipassana and samadhi are on the level of there is an image, not on the level of your application of it. Hence, no, you can't have too much of it, the right mindfulness, and it's a necessary basis for any form of application or discernment.
Yes, I mean, I imagine most people think Samatha and Vipassana is maybe a step backwards, but people think that they're techniques.
It's like these two things I do.
Yeah.
That's why you have none if you don't have the right view first. Again, Samadhiti Sutta, many other suttas as well. Like, you can't possibly practice rightly without knowing what the right practice is. It's just a contradiction in terms. But it's such a hard thing for people to accept as well.
Oh yeah.
Because it feels like, oh, so whatever I've been doing means it doesn't count for anything. Well, you don't know you will only know whether it counts for something or not once you get the right view. In hindsight, you can see whether your practice is counted or not. By you being too afraid to admit that it might not count for anything is basically what's going to hinder you from finding what does count for something. It's just simply that.
Yeah.
Fear that you might be even if you wasted all of your time, 20 years of your supposed practice. It's never too late. And if the practice was right, you have nothing to fear. So why are you fearing questioning it?
Yeah, you can't lose from practicing more.
Exactly.
What are you going to lose?
You can only lose from refraining to practice further because of fear of what you thought you invested in beforehand.
It's just, I think for most people it's less painful to...
It's less painful. So again, it boils down to the criteria that the Buddha said Puthujjana would only know, which is, this pleases me and this thing displeases me.
Yeah.
And that's why I follow it, that's why I reject it. Like even intellect and reasoning are heavily rooted in pleasing, displeasing. That's why I'm for it, that's why I'm against it. That's why I find arguments for it, that's why I find arguments against it. Just because it pleases me. And they remain ignorant of that.
Yeah, that's why they hold their views.
Yeah. So even if you're following the right teaching, you're following for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
It means you'll be a Puthujjana.